So this is our last week of bonus feature footage.
So hard to believe.
It's crazy. Week 4. It's been an amazing series going through Craig Groeschel's book, Winning the War in Your Mind. We have one more Sunday with our roundtable, which will be awesome, but this is our last bonus feature footage.
It is.
So sad. But I got to talk on Sunday about the Rejoice principle.
Rejoice.
Please sing.
No, not right now.
Oh, tomorrow?
Maybe next Sunday. I'll keep you in suspense.
Everyone come back on Sunday to find out.
Oh yeah, special in song.
Yes. So because I spoke and because I have the microphone right now, I'm going to give you a pop quiz.
Pop quiz.
What was the basis of what I talked about on Sunday?
Oh dear, here she has put me on the spot. So it was about keeping both hands up in a battle, one hand being thanksgiving, other hand being praise.
Absolutely.
See, I was listening.
Wow. That's a first.
Yeah, well, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? So it was a really good message and really brings us into the core of what Craig is trying to say. So if you're out there and you've got the book and you're following along, that whole piece is kind of summed up on page 196, where he says, in a fight, you need to keep both hands up to protect yourself. Think of prayer as one hand and praise as the other. We need to keep both hands raised. So legitimate point you raised, for sure, on the weekend, and not a lot of time to unpack it. So let me throw it back to you. You were the speaker, so now it's part 2. So give us a couple examples maybe in your own life of where, praise was one hand and Thanksgiving was the other. I'm sure we could all learn from that. So give us some practical insight on that.
Practical insight. So these are obviously just personal examples, and
Sure.
there's so many different ways both of these things could look, but I will give one example for each. So for the Thanksgiving one, there was a moment in the middle of the pandemic where, everyone is unsure of what's going on. Everyone's confused. I hate being home for extended periods of time, and I was at home and I was just like, So my perspective was starting to slip. And so my roommate and I decided to put up a whole banner on our dining room wall, like the brown paper stuff, and we wrote thankful right in the middle. And every day we did it for probably like 2 to 3 weeks. We decided every day we'd go over with a colorful Sharpie and we'd write one thing that we were thankful for. And then when I was working from home, it was awesome because I would sit there and I would see it. And I was like, oh yeah, there's actually so much still to be thankful for, even though I have no idea what's going on. The world is falling apart. I don't want to be here, but there's still some things to be thankful for. And so that was a huge perspective shift and something that kept me engaged with the fight rather than slipping away into like negativity or whatever.
Yes.
So that would be example number 1 for thankfulness. And then for the prayer piece, one example that I didn't give in the message was I found there was a season in my life a little while ago where my family was going through some pretty tough stuff, and I had to make a very intentional decision that I was going to tell God everything because there was a lot going on and a lot of emotions and a lot of confusing things. And I literally had my journal open at all times. And anytime that I needed to write anything down, anytime that I had any sort of like frustration or whatever, I would go right to the journal because it was always open. And I would just write out to God and be like, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking, all that sort of stuff. And I found that act of fighting through that with God actually helped me heal in the process and get through it in a healthier way on the other side. But I had to make that choice of, God, you're in this with me and we're going to fight through this together rather than numbing out and doing something else that would keep me away from him. Right.
And that makes total sense. So even if you think about it, even if you take like one hand down, if you take down like the hand of praise and prayer and you're thankful, but you're not really connecting, you're not talking to God in those moments, you're still kind of, you're still open to, I guess, an attack of the enemy, if you want to use that phrase. Yeah. Right. So it's so important, as you just kind of explained, to keep both hands up. And so, I really like that. I like that example. I think it makes a lot of sense. And I'm sure for everyone listening out there, there's so much to be thankful for in the midst of all this crazy stuff that's going on where it's hard to see the positive, but there's lots of positive to be thankful for. And there's certainly lots of things going on now that we need to be talking to God about. So let's keep those hands up and let's just keep being thankful and let's keep praising and praying, and God will lead us through. He will help us to win the war in our mind. So I guess that's a wrap, I suppose, is it, for today? And
that is a wrap.
It's a wrap. And so this has been great. So we're looking forward to the roundtable next week. It's going to be great to come back. Myself and Madison, Barry and Yvonne, we've all kind of taught in this whole book. So we're looking forward to just coming back and bringing some extra footage.
Absolutely.
EBF, maybe extra bonus footage. I don't know what we call it, but I'm sure it's going to be something.
Something. Someone can come up with a nickname for us.
For sure.
But also, to close this off, we would love any sort of feedback about anything. If anybody's been wrestling with anything or questioning something, we would love to hear other people's journeys in this whole process. So
always, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that concludes bonus feature footage.
It's been a blast.
It has.
See ya.